Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Daniel Lees podcast. If this is your first time, welcome. Please do me a favor though, whatever channel you're listening on, please just follow, subscribe. That's all I ask for right now. Wait until the end of the episode and then you can obviously rank us and tell us how good it was. But this week's guest needs no introduction, especially if you listened to part 1 of our episode. And he's back for part 2. And I can't wait to dive deep more into his story. And all I'm going to say is we're going deep today. So welcome back to Daniel Lees podcast. So join me in welcoming this week's guest, Dariush Soudi.
Thank you for having me back.
How are you, mate?
Thank you so much. I wasn't sure if it was a compliment or not because, maybe I'm so big, you had to put me in 2 parts.
No, of course not.
And also I have to be a really good liar because I have to remember all the lies I said in the first part so it doesn't clash with the second part.
Don't say that, Jesus Christ. That starts out nicely. I mean, obviously at the beginning of the podcast, everyone's listened to the snippets of the part 1. But we left at a really crucial stage.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah, we did. The heart attack.
Yes. Which one?
Well,
the first one.
Not the one you just had running down the corridor. Yeah. The first one. Yeah. So just to jog your memory, because it was when you had the heart attack and then you lost the business.
The reason I lost the business was because I lost all will to run it, and I decided because I lost my kids, they came to Dubai. I decided to just come to Dubai. And then I wrote my values down because I was crying because I didn't want to die alone. I don't know if I covered that in the first part. And I wrote my values and I realized that nothing I had in England was resonating with my values. So
what were your values?
Well, still the same.
Yeah.
Honesty, transparency, love, speed, punctuality. Time is the most expensive commodity that we have, and I was around people who just abused it. Health,
and
communication.
Yeah, because from the last episode, obviously, you were talking about lying in the room and just thinking, I don't really want to die here.
Correct.
And I believe the date was September 2009.
My heart attack was before, but I set a date for whatever reason that September 2009 I was going to come to Dubai.
And was that the date you came, or did you come a little bit earlier?
No, September 2009. I don't know what date in September it was.
But it was definitely
September. It wasn't September the 11th, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It was definitely, it was just after Ramadan. Yeah. And I don't know if you were here at that time, but the recession hit just after Ramadan. It was the day I landed was the worst time of Dubai's economy. But then I was very honest. I sold the businesses, gave one away to a member of staff, sold the businesses, got 10% down payment. And then the buyer came and said, screw you, sue us. But because I was so honest to say that I'm leaving at such and such date, they knew I wasn't going to stay and sue them.
Was this the...
health clubs.
The health clubs, yeah. And so, I mean...
The health clubs were leased.
Yeah.
So what happened was I terminated the leases for a new buyer. They paid me 10%. And the guy came and said, hey, listen, you got all this stuff sitting here. Just give me the key. And we're gonna get a deposit in the 90% soon anyway. So I think it makes sense, right? Because I don't want to continue paying the rent.
Yeah.
Gave them the lease, he changed the locks and said, screw you.
And how much was that business worth at the time?
It was running down because since my heart attack I just stopped. But it was 100 million pounds. Wow. About 90 million. I had other businesses.
And you just said goodbye to it.
But I had no choice. I had to sit around, wait, fight. Could take him to court. I had houses in Spain, and then the Spanish market still is bad, but then it was really bad. And I thought, sell these assets. I want to hang around Spain and Europe. I'll never make it in Dubai. So, and then the taxman came after. I had money in the bank, but then the taxman was investigating me. But when the taxman investigates you, the banks freeze all your accounts on an investigation because they have to announce it in the London Gazette. So I had money in the bank, so I couldn't reach them. There could be like hundreds of thousands of pounds sitting in some accounts right now in England. So they froze it, and I just thought, well, F it, and I just left.
Wow.
It just wasn't worth hanging around. I would have died on a miserable life.
Yeah. And how much money did you have to your name then?
$750.
Wow. Which I suppose the exchange rate was what? Was about
5.5.
Yeah. So you came to Dubai.
Lived in a maid's room.
With your ex-wife?
Correct.
Yeah.
But she lived on the palm, right? So I lived on the palm in a maid's room.
Yeah.
But I always say, if you're going to live in a box, make sure it's in a good neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because you hang around the rich people. You don't hang around people who blame and victims.
Yeah. No, one of my fondest memories was of living in a maid's room when I first moved to Dubai 10 years ago now. And we always used to take it in rotations because, you know, we're all young lads, moved to Dubai, 23, 24 years old, trying to like really work hard and party hard. But we had this maid's room, and once you shut the door and open the bed, it was like a fold-up bed that goes into a sofa. You couldn't open the door.
Yeah, mine was the same. Yeah, there was no shower rail. I just had to.
It was just a shower.
It was a shower. Yeah, it was. But you know, the funny thing was, right now, I find very little time to focus on myself. That time, all I could do is focus on myself.
Yeah.
Right. So most amount of personal growth happened when I had time by myself to think, to read, to plan. But now, the only time I get time to myself is go away. And even then, interruptions and messages and businesses.
So in that moment then, so like you're kind of like, I mean, you're obviously around your children and stuff and your ex-wife, but like, what was the message that you were saying to yourself at that point? What was the message, and what did you learn?
Well, it was about 1,000 messages. One, I'm a dickhead.
Yeah.
To blown it all away. And my surroundings were telling me I was a loser. Family was telling me I was a loser. The only people who didn't give up on me was my current wife, past wife, and my kids. No support, no friends. My surroundings were telling me I was a loser. I didn't have a car.
Who were your surroundings though? Like
the maid's room, right? Yeah. I'm looking at surrounding like this. These four little walls are telling me.
So it's just everything around you.
Everything. I couldn't afford the business cards, and then because I'm dyslexic, I don't know if I told you. I printed a business card. I misspelled it. I even read it, and I even misspelled my business card. So when I got it, I was like, "Oh my god!" I only had 120 dirhams, and I got those printed. So I used to think, "What can I do?" I used to give to people. So I spot the mistake. I want to check to see your attention to detail.
Yeah.
You know, I was trying to use any hooks, anything at all.
Now, this is a bit of a personal question, like most of my questions, but what happened with you and your ex-wife?
We became friends.
Yeah.
We stopped becoming lovers. So we actually drove to the court in the same car. And then when we're sitting on the bench, there was, there's the judge.
It's a shame they just don't let you just sign a piece of paper on your own and just off you go.
I don't think there was internet things now, but there was benches on the right, benches on the left, and we sat next to each other. And then the judge turned and said, "Where's the other party?" I said, "We're it." And he's tried to counsel us and say, "Are you sure you want to?" I said, "No, we're just very good friends. We're not lovers anymore."
Yeah.
And he said, "I wish you all the best," and boom, snapped and left.
It's amazing.
And we drove back together, laughing. Wishing each other the best of luck.
It's amazing that that's able to happen, because from somebody that came from a very toxic breakup from a parent's perspective, it just always created a divide. You could never do anything. Birthdays always became a challenge. Had to do things separately. So to be able to like still maintain that with the mother of your children is...
Yeah, it wasn't just a sudden decision. It was over a period of time. She was aware I was unhappy. I was aware she was unhappy. There was more to life. We were going on personal development courses, looking at you going, this is not it. Maybe the business became too big and we're just talking business all the time. Love went out, passion went out. And then we love our children too much. And we both came from broken homes.
Yeah.
So we decided for the sake of the kids, you remember it, you feel a little scarred. Yeah. So we thought for the sake of the kids, just have harmony.
Yeah. Okay, so we're in the maid's room. We're kind of figuring out life. What was the next step for you?
To pay the school fees, because my children hadn't gone to school for 6 months. Coming home and they're looking at you thinking, "Dad, it's horrible." I think when I came over for 2 weeks, I just stayed in bed. I was just drained. And thank God I was allowed to do that. And then we started knocking on doors, selling anything. And it was a good time, because when recession hits, people got problems. People got headaches. I think before Ramadan, everybody was making money. I remember coming here on holiday and People had 3 drivers, maids everywhere. So one person made tea, one polished the shoes. It was ridiculous. The sales agents who were showing us around, the real estate agents, they couldn't speak English, and the price of the property was going up while you were viewing it. I don't know.
Yeah.
So it was a crazy times. But when it hit recession, people were like, oh shit, I've got a shop, I've got overheads. The phone's not ringing anymore.
Yeah.
So I could come and say, well, what makes you unique? What's unique about you? And they didn't know. They didn't know what was unique about them. And I always said, if you don't know what's unique about you, that people always judge you on price. So I started working on what's unique about you. And then people here and say, oh, he's the guy who talks about being unique. So I called my company Be Unique.
Wow.
So now we call it Be Unique Group, right? So you have to stand out in a crowded marketplace. And that's what I did. And it could be anything. It could be your advertising. I was very good at marketing.
Yeah.
It was how to manage your social media, how to do your signage, newsletters, content, anything. And then I've always been very sensitive towards client journey. So I could sit in somebody's reception and know exactly if that client's going to buy or not, just on their behavior, on their communication, the behavior and communication skills of the receptionist. And because of my background in health and beauty and health clubs, suddenly I started inheriting loads of clients who were in the health industry on Jumeirah Beach Road and
Because you could relate with them.
Yeah. And then what happens is, like, one of my first clients, and I love him dearly, Kukuna, Dr. Sanjay, the most unbelievable, and it just happened, they were starting their business as well. I think he's got about 9 clinics now, and we're still dear friends. And he was sitting there, one of the most amazing plastic surgeons, and people were phoning the receptionist saying how much, and the receptionist was giving him a price. And the guy's sitting there twiddling his thumb because, and he felt, and he had a lump in his throat because every time he was going past the receptionist, they were just saying 25,000 dirhams for a facelift or whatever. And they were not coming to see him. And I was like, is this what's life? You've done all this work, all this research, all this practice, everything, amazing clientele, and your receptionists are consulting the clients.
Yeah.
Because the client always says, how much? And then I started working with him, and then we said, can we train the receptionist? And I trained the receptionist for 6 weeks. And now he's got 4 clinics or 5 clinics all next to each other. And only because the receptionist didn't give him prices and quotes on the phone. And I said to him, every time somebody sees you for a consultation, how many do you close? It goes 100%. So the problem is your gatekeeper is stopping people coming to seeing you.
Yeah. And now, you said about obviously Be Unique Group. So just Be Unique, like, is that still going today?
Yeah.
And then just tell me a bit about the actual group itself. Like, what is it you do?
So sales and marketing, anything to increase your sales. So when I go into a company, there's 4 or 5 things I look at, period. Do you know what they are? Do you know how we can increase profits? 1 is to increase your price. Okay. 2, to gain new clients, which is expensive. 3 is to get people to come more often. 4 is to get them to spend more money when they come. Yeah. And 5, to reduce costs, which I don't like because I'm not about scarcity. I'm all about abundance. So these are 4 things that I focus on. And that's what I did. How can I get new clients? How can I get them to come more often? How can I get more loyalty? How can I get them to spend more money by introducing new products and services? And it can work for anyone.
Okay, so let's talk about the first point.
Yeah.
How do you get more clients?
Well, how do you get most clients? You look at your competition. Okay, there was a reason why you started a business. You didn't do it for the money, right? So you start talking about your story. People get attached to your story. Why are you different if you're a dentist, why are you different as a dental clinic to the person next to you? If you don't know, you're in the shit, right? If you're selling a product that's exactly like somebody else, get out of that industry.
Yeah.
Because people will judge you on price. So, and then we started looking at the unique selling proposition. What level of service before, after that they give, and we could shout about it.
Yeah.
And then the attention span of the actual buyer is very little now. So we made it very keep it simple, stupid advertising campaigns and marketing campaigns. One of the things, I remember a client of mine, it was called Concept 1010. And this lady was an overweight Norwegian lady. And she came to me, I met her at BNI, Business Network International meeting. And she was just a very big lady, big set. And she was selling her gym business. And it was amazing concept. I could lift, within 5 weeks, I was lifting twice weights as I was before. And the idea is that if you imagine, you push a car, you don't push it from here and you don't push it from here. You push the car about here. This is your maximum power position. We're not putting too much pressure on your joints and you have full power. So why do we lift weights when we're putting all the pressure on our joints here and there, right?
Yeah.
And so what they did was they measured the most powerful degrees of movement at what point. So you'll get these maximum weights, and you literally go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. And you did this 10 times. You don't break sweat. You don't tear muscle. You just build massive strength. But the problem was that she wasn't a good demonstration of her own products, right?
Yeah.
So she said, I spent $1 million on this 2 gyms, and I'm just about to go bust. So I went to her and said, how many happy clients you got? She got 3. I said, so you're going to go bust. I said, can I meet these 3 clients? Sure. So I went to them and said, I have a very unique selling technique for referral marketing. And it goes like this. Can I introduce myself? Can I borrow your name to introduce myself to 3 people you know? Because we love your energy. Birds of a feather flock together. I'd love to have more people like you to grow my business. Would that be okay? And the first one said no. Obviously, there was a lack of trust. The second one, yes, sure, these 3 people. I said, do you mind giving them a call? I'm going to call them and invite them. And all 3 came in. The last guy was the managing director of a company called So Safe water filters for my clients as well. Yeah. And he just said, while I'm doing this exercise, here's my phone, call them all. She sold the business for millions a couple of years later.
Wow.
And she never looked back. And all I did was not one advertising, no nothing. Just worked off referrals. She was fully booked.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite, I suppose I'm actually just, all I can think about is my own position.
Talk about it, yeah.
And you mentioned one thing is, if you're selling the same thing as everyone else, then get out. And we kind of do the same. I mean, we are quite a unique business in terms of what we do. We're an interior fit out company that has a lot of trades in-house. So we invest massively. Family business.
Your business.
Yeah. And
it is your business.
No, not my business.
You work for
I'm the head of business development for them. But and the reason why they created it was because of the need of their own for the market. And they weren't getting what they wanted. And that's how we developed a concept. But price, we always get smashed on price all the time. And it's actually soul destroying at times, because it doesn't matter how much value you try and provide. Yeah. Like I had a call the other day, and the client was like telling me that we're going to get the project the whole way through. Next thing you know, I've got a contractor that's way below us, and I need to get down to that price now. It's like you think to yourself, like. So
the question I asked them is, what car do you drive? They probably have nice cars, right?
Yeah.
So when you go for a Nissan, takes you from A to B, right?
Yeah.
Would you go for the cheapest? Now this is your kitchen. This is your bedroom. This is your this. Are you going to go for the cheapest? Yeah.
I have done that analogy before.
There's millions of things. I can say, I fully understand why price is the most important thing to you. I really understand. I've never come across one client who said to me, price is not an issue. True? Have you ever had a guy, I've got unlimited amounts of money, I just want to give it to you.
And even if they have at the end, the negotiations are like, I've got budget. Yeah.
So I expect it. So I actually respect you. Now, here's the thing. If I put the price aside, what's the second most important thing you're looking for when you're looking at your kitchen or your bedroom or whatever? And then I said durability, service. Okay, fantastic. But I do remember price is the most important thing, right? Yes. Second most important thing. Third most, fourth. So what you do is stack up all the other values. Because you keep respecting them, reverting to the price, they forget about it.
Yeah.
I did this to Renault, sales went up by 25%.
Wow.
Because people come into a car showroom and say, I have a budget of this and this. Okay, fantastic. Respect that. So money is really important. Yes, it is. Putting that aside, what will be the second most important thing? Safety, consumption, this. Just keep stacking it up and keep reverting back to it. But you don't have to deal with it because price is just a bullshit objection. It's a smokescreen. When you go to your wife, you have a wife, girlfriend? Okay. Girlfriend. You've had girlfriends and girlfriend, right? She has nice handbags.
Yeah.
She needs a handbag. Does she buy the cheapest one? No, she buys the one she wants, right? And they're often ridiculously priced.
Yeah.
True. As men, we can't justify this kind of, and for handbags look identical to the other 10 she has, right? The fact is that she wants a handbag. She wants that one.
Yeah.
She doesn't need a handbag. So what happens when people come to you for your services, they need a service, but it's up to you to make sure they want your service.
Yeah.
You see, because when somebody wants something, it's a far more powerful driving force than needing something. And then you justify why you should have it.
Yeah.
So I would love to work with you on that one.
Yeah, 100%.
And then it won't be that difficult. The only challenge is that yourself and your staff are habitual people, right? So to break a habit is painful. So you need to work with me for about 4 to 6 weeks, and then you're going to laugh.
I got so fixated on that, I even forgot what the other points were. So we're talking about getting new
customers,
clients, raise
get
the
them to
prices,
spend more money, raise your prices. What made you decide to charge this, right? Because what happens? Too many people came to say you're too expensive. You believed it, you reduce your price, right? Add value. When you add value, you can charge what you like.
Yeah.
Okay, be with confidence. And then what happens is the people who actually don't respect you, they just judge you by price, sack them. Because there are people out there, they're blocking the energy of the great people who value you.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't make money, get rid. So many people are just happy for revenue, for vanity.
Yeah.
Right? You should be looking at profit. So I only do business with great people, same values and profit.
Yeah. So who was the first customer of Be Unique?
Yeah, you love this one. This story went viral a few years ago when I told the real Brad Lee in the States. I got 5.5 million views on this one.
No way.
Yeah. It went crazy. My social media went up a couple 100,000 people like in a week. And he's asked me to go back. I'm in the States this August. I'm going for a second interview.
Yeah.
Part 2. Right. So should we go? Let's do this.
Yeah.
I didn't have money to get a car. And it was September and I couldn't door knock. I didn't realize the heat of Dubai.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I found a rental car company whereby they had these old Visa machines. I don't know if you remember. You put the Visa and go.
And it kind of put on the paper. Yeah.
Because the new stuff that was coming out, instantly they blocked the money, right? With this, they couldn't block the money because I had no money on my card.
Yeah.
So I got this white Toyota Yaris, 1,250 dirhams or something a month. And he had some petrol in it. So I thought, you know what, I'm a salesman. The 30 days I'll sell, I'll get money, I'll pay for this. And I was doing Visa runs. So everything hooked on this money coming in. And 28 days are gone, 29 days are gone by, I didn't have a client. And I'm driving down Sheikh Zayed Road, one client left, and it was a Monday morning.
Why weren't you getting clients?
Thousands of desperation written all over my face.
Yeah.
Finding my way. People wasting my time. They weren't making quick decisions. I was rushing them maybe. It was just very tough. And money was running out. And then, so if you imagine, I'm running down Sheikh Zayed Road and it was on Grosvenor House building opposite at the time, there was no modern Museum of Future.
Yeah.
It was opposite the World Trade Center.
Yeah.
Emirates Towers.
Yeah.
Opposite Emirates Towers. There's a building called Grosvenor House.
Yeah, I know it, yeah.
And so it was on like a 42nd floor or something. So I'm driving and it's a haulage company. And I promised him 30% growth in his business in the first month. He had around 100 staff. And he showed something. I think he was weak. Yeah, he was a weak salesman, weak CEO. I pushed him a little bit. He said, I'll meet you. I met with him. I sent him a proposal by email. I still have that email address, hotmail.com. So there's no company name or anything. So I sent it to him. So imagine Monday morning, I sent it to him on a Thursday. And Monday morning, I'm driving. I think at that time was Sundays were working days.
Yeah.
But anyway, Sunday morning.
The old days, yeah.
So I'm driving and I'm looking at this petrol gouge and it's like literally light coming on. I'm like, fuck, if I don't get this deal, I can't even put petrol in the car. And I was sweat running down my back and face thinking, if I don't pay this, I heard in Dubai, if you don't bounce a check, you go to jail.
And in those days, you would have.
You would have, yeah. So real serious shit going on. So my heart was pounding. I'd gone to a photocopier company and I photocopied the proposals just in case. I went through all the rebuttals. So went to the 42nd floor, sweat running down my back, on my face. The receptionist looks at me. I says, Mr. Patel here. He goes, who are you? She goes, before anything, you need to go have a wash. I remember going to look at the shower, look at the mirror bathroom, and I was drenched, sweat pouring down my face. Washed my face, turned around. There was no bloody towels or anything. So I tell you, it was a hot air thing. You know when everything going wrong?
Yeah.
So somehow, I don't know how, there was not enough toilet paper. I just somehow dried myself. I came back. She looked at me like, you're a lost cause, right? Please go and sit at the boardroom. And if you look at the door, the boardroom was across. So it wasn't that way. It was across, right? So I went in and I went all the way around the table and sat facing the door, because I always sit facing the door.
Why is that?
Because you're in power. That's the position of power. Never have your back to the door. So you're in a weak position, I'm in a power position. And if you imagine you pitching me and I'm in control of what goes through the door. Not that you got to get my attention. Now I'm distracted because of what's going on behind you, right? So let's say my desk is here and you come to pitch me. I'll move my chair here. So we're both facing the door. And I always say, do you mind if I sit facing the door with you? And they go, why? So I just have this thing. I just don't have my back to it. They go, okay, strange. Okay. So I always sit with facing the door. And I teach my students to do that. It's a position of power. So if it's a distraction, you go, oh, please, you attend to them, I'll wait. You controlling the meeting.
Yeah. This is all about control. Yeah.
It's all about control. So I'm sitting there, and he's running about 20 minutes late, and I can feel the sweat running down my back. And he comes, and I can see him talking to the receptionist, and he's like, oh, shit, I forgot about him. Looks at me, I look at him with total enthusiasm, yeah? And he's like coming towards me, and I can read his mind. He's thinking, how the hell am I going to get rid of this guy? I don't want to do business with him. So he comes and sits down, and I said, Mr. Patel, do you have a chance to have a look at my proposal? I worked all weekend on it. And he made all sorts of excuses. I wasn't even listening. He was like, I never got a chance. I'm sorry. Can you come back? I said, don't worry. I have a copy. So I pulled out a copy, put it under his nose. And I could tell he was glancing. He wasn't even reading it. And he was thinking all the time, internal dialogue, how am I going to get rid of him? And I thought, you know what? It's jail time if I don't get this. I've got to get this deal, do or die. So I just stretched across the desk and I said, Mr. Patel, it's a deal then.
Yeah.
Mr. Patel, it's a deal. And that's what he did. He just reached out and shook my hand just like you did. And I do that every single time when I sit in front of someone now.
Yeah.
So I reached out and he shook my hand. I was like, that was easy. Now what? I hadn't thought that far. I thought I need to get paid. I said, for me to start tomorrow morning, you need to go and get a checkbook. And he went, okay. I went and got a checkbook. I didn't have a bank account because I was doing visa runs. And so I make it payable to. I was like, oh God, I hadn't even thought that far. I said, cash. He went, cash? I said, yes, cash. I'll be here at 8 tomorrow morning. And he wrote a cash check for 7,500 dirhams. I got that check, mate. I got it like this. See you tomorrow morning. And I ran around this desk, fast walk to the lift. And he's walking behind me and literally looking at me as the lift door shuts. He's like, he had no idea who the hell I was, why he wrote me a check or anything. So I came down, got into my car. And for about an hour, I just cried. Opened the door. I was sick on the floor. Not on my car, just outside. Because the adrenaline. Yeah, and I just couldn't stop crying, thinking, what the hell's the world come to? I was worth this. And now 6 months, 9 months later, I'm like this. And I just made a decision. It was really weird. I made a decision. I said, I knew I was going to make it again. Daniel, I just knew. I just said, this soon shall pass. Yes, but I'm always going to reach out across the desk and shake somebody's hand. And that's what I do. Most people walk away from deals. I get a deal and walk out.
Yeah. Because in the last episode, you mentioned a point, actually, I wanted to ask you about it. And I suppose this kind of ties in. You talking about knowing you're going to make it and stuff. You mentioned about immersing yourself in like a wealthy lifestyle and how money does grow on trees. But like, there's a lot of people going to be listening to this being like, Dariush, what are you talking about, mate? Like, seriously. Sure. But like, talk me through the mindset of that. Like, how do you build that bulletproof mindset? Because, and I'm asking you, I suppose, on my behalf as well, is because every time I get a bit of doubt on a deal, it's like my mind will just say, you're not going to win this. Like, do you know what I mean? So like, how can people like change that mindset?
You can't go into a battle thinking you're not going to win. You'll get, that's why I set up Gladiator Mastery, because for most people, winning and losing is negotiable, right? You're just going to make it non-negotiable, just like gladiators. Because if you go into an arena thinking, I might lose this, you're going to get your head chopped off, right? So you go knowing that if you've done the right things and going to battle, you should win. You can bring more certainty. You can do more practice. You can do more strategies. You can do everything. I don't sit when I'm waiting for someone. I always stand. Because I don't want them to look down on me when they come to greet me at reception.
Because they have the power.
They have the power. So everything I do, when I meet someone outside my office, I know exactly which table in which restaurant, what time, everything. I have 4 locations in Dubai that I meet people. It's all set. There's no chance, coincidence, nothing. So I'm trying to make sure that everything is aligned towards me. Everything is the words I use. There's no chance or coincidence when I put you through the sales process. There is no chance or coincidence. And you know what happens? Most people buy from me and they don't even know why they paid me. It just felt good. Everything was aligned. Everything was great. Then I go out of my way to make sure they don't get buyer's remorse. I over exceed the expectation. I always deliver through speed and certainty, right?
Yeah.
So the hard work starts afterwards. The rest is a process. So to answer your question, of course, doubt goes through you all the time. I just know even doubt is a process. They just have to overcome. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm not bulletproof at all. But you know what? If I lose this, I want to learn from it. I've got enough prospects on the go to learn and keep growing. But most people don't have enough prospects on the go. So they have 2 eggs in a basket, and if one cracks, they have a heart attack. They shit themselves, right? Have 200 eggs. If one cracks, so what? Learn from it and move on. Just don't make the same mistake. So I knew. Then what happens, you think, you say, okay, if Richard Branson behaves like this and this person behaves like that, and I've got a bit of them, and I don't do anything wrong, I don't party, I don't mess around, I'm just focused. If it's for them, it should be for me, right? So it's just a matter of time. I know if I'm doing everything the right way every single day, every single minute of every hour of a single day of the week of the month, I should get things coming my way. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Do you know
and
what?
most people, by the way, rush things. They want things yesterday.
Yeah.
I just knew it's going to take time.
It makes sense because, you know, we live in a world of we need quick everything, right? And I suppose with the podcast, I spoke about this recently, is, you know, I was very close to giving up because I was just getting average numbers. I was just like, it was just getting to the point where I was creating, and you know, like I genuinely do have incredible conversations every time I have a conversation. And I just think to myself, why do people not want to? And then when I look deep into it, I was like, you just look at what you're doing. What can you improve? What can you do better? And the first thing was be consistent, you know, like, and straight away, consistency, bang. Mate, I can't tell you how many people recognize my podcast now. Like I have, you know, I'm pretty confident that this would be #1 podcast in Dubai in no time if I keep doing what I'm doing.
I have no doubt after today.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, and I'm sure
You'll
like,
never look back after this one.
You know, I was excited about this episode. I was WhatsApping you, fanboying you, like, come
you're,
on.
You're my mate. You're my family member.
No, but when you said about a second ago as well is, you know, I can resonate with the people that sometimes just give you money because, like, it's weird. As I've got older, I've become very choosy on the people that I spend time with, the people that I like, and you know, I don't suffer fools easily. But with you, I just generally just get a good feeling. Do you know what I mean?
It's
like
feeling, it's energy.
It is.
Money's energy, right? If you tap into people's energies, and I don't need to lie because you know what? This comes with age. If you lie, you'll get found out.
Yeah.
Eventually, I just don't need the headache.
And I don't.
Right? So you share
the feeling within as well. The feeling within when you lie is like, what's the point?
What is the point? Because you're looking at short-term gains and long-term loss. That comes again with age. And you know, the fact is that I don't really care if people like me or not. Yeah. And I know the way I am winds people up because I tend to be happy and full of energy, and they're not. And it just highlights what they don't have in their lives.
Exactly. And I think a lot
good
of people,
luck.
A lot of people.
How can I have haters when I talk about good stuff all the time? Yeah. And I have haters, right? So I was talking sometime in front of my house, and some guy did a screenshot and did a circle of my watch and put fake. And this website's all about fake watches or something. I have no idea. I had 200, nearly 300 hate messages that day. People who didn't know me. And I first was like, okay, then I'll contact you. I contacted everyone. They were all fake profiles. Wow. And one of them had a mobile number, a Dubai number. I phoned them up. They would pretend they were somebody else. It was like nobody even had that. Fake people hate people. And my son was on the phone. Dad, my friends are talking about it. Upload the receipt. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. Tomorrow it'll be my shoes. It'll be my nose. It'll be my... the haters will always be haters. Yeah. It hurt for a few days. Then I thought, you know what? Let it be.
Yeah.
Let it be. I just continue doing what I look in the mirror and I'm happy. Now, here's the thing. You don't have children yet, okay? When I did do, but they weren't with me, I let them be my judge. So when I was speaking to someone, I was thinking, if my son was here, would he be thinking, I'm proud of my dad? If the answer was yes, I was doing the right thing. If the answer was no and he was cringing, I should better change.
Yeah.
So you can always have people who can be your judge, although they're not there.
Yeah. So do you stay in contact with Mr. Patel?
No, don't know what happened to him. But I increased his sales by over 50%.
Oh, wow.
Now, here's the thing. Imagine this. I go in next morning and before anybody else, because people get buyer's remorse. So when I left, I immediately sent him a message that he made the right decision, be there on time, have this prepared. So he's on a back foot. Okay, you always do that. When you get the deal, press. Because then don't think, have I made the right decision or not? Whether it's a pen or it's a multi-million-dollar deal, people have buyer's remorse. So next morning, I'll turn up at 8 o'clock, speak to the sales managers. They can barely speak English. How many salespeople do they have? 100. Can I meet them all? None of them spoke English.
Wow.
I'm like, how the hell am I going to train these people? And the dialogue of the Mr. Patel was, I'm not sure if his name was Patel, was, I meet 100 people and 2 will buy. Because in the haulage business, it's all price driven. So he'd even quit. He'd given up. He thought, if I hired a bunch of cheap people, 100 doors we knock on, 2% will buy. So even he was defeatist attitude. So I spent about 2 weeks. I was like, oh my God, I promised this guy 30% because, okay, thank you so much. And then, by the way, once you get your first clients, for some reason, clients start coming in. So I had other clients. And within about 2 months, I had 2 clients a day, every single day for every month. So that was hard. I'll come to that as well. So I did something genius. I called it the stadium pitch. Okay. And I'm going to ask you a question. So how many years have you been selling?
Wow. Probably, if you include pulling girls, since I was 18, 19.
Okay, since 8, so 16 years, right?
Yeah.
16 years. In 16 years, the people you prospected, okay, how many of them? 10,000 people?
Yeah, a lot, yeah.
Okay, let's say 10,000 people, right? So if I called every one of them and said, hey, do you want to see Daniel pitch again? 10,000, oh, I've heard him pitch, I never bought. How many of those 10,000 bought from you? Did deals?
Oof.
200, 300?
I mean, it's a hard number because it did
200,
mix
300?
sales, yeah.
300?
Yeah, I mean, the context of it is I worked my first sales job was selling cars. Did really well to begin with.
Yeah, well, people walk in, right?
Exactly. But
I'm talking about sales. You pitched them.
Yeah. I suppose I would say my numbers are probably like 1 in 5 people.
Okay, that's quite high.
Yeah.
Okay, you must be a really good salesperson, right? So let's say out of 10,000 people,
I want to be better.
2,000 bought. That means every single day you got up, 10,000 people, 8,000 didn't buy from you.
Yeah.
Dust yourself down, pick yourself up, go out there selling. True? So only 20% bought from you. In this case, he 98% weren't buying, and his salespeople weren't just. They were lucky to even turn up and find the location of the prospects. So I was researching the internet. So do you want to know how you can increase that 20 to 40? So instead of selling to 2,000 people, you sell to 4,000 people. Can you imagine in a stadium, I invite 10,000 people and I bribe them with free popcorn and hot dogs. So you watch Daniel pitch. You walk in, 100 people get up and walk out. You go, in the middle of the field, 1,000 people get up and walk out. True?
Yeah.
Right. Do you want to know the trick that twice as many people sit there going, I want to do business with that guy? That's what I did to him. It's called the stadium pitch, right? Would you like to know what that is?
I would love to know what that is.
So I researched the internet and I found out that everything is in the world, majority of things are shipped by sea. Okay? And by sea is 20-foot containers. Every year, I think 10,000 or so 20-foot containers fall off ships due to storm and stuff. I didn't know that. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew about that. Yeah.
I didn't know. It was United Nations research.
That's why they do insurance now, because it sometimes just goes missing, doesn't turn up.
Correct. And 80% of them float. They don't sink. So there've been a 20-foot container with Harley Davidson found in Japan and Doritos found in LA and stuff like this. So they just land on beaches.
Random places, yeah.
And then out of these 8,000 20-foot containers, they hit ships. So they become shipwrecks. So what they do is now they put GPS chips on them to can monitor the movements of these. And then oceaneers found out that if they monitor the movement of these 20-foot containers, they can monitor the movement of seas around the world. I thought that's pretty interesting. And even like 12 years on, I'm still telling people, most people go, wow, I didn't know that, right? So if you educate people something they don't know and it's independently researched, they don't question it.
Yeah.
So I thought, hang on a second, how can I win credibility with all these prospects they see? I put that quote at the bottom of the proposal. The sales doubled.
Wow.
So when people are lining up all the proposals, num, 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 they don't go for cheap anymore. They read that, they go, that's interesting. They must know something about the product.
Especially with shipping. I've dealt with it as well, because you're always looking for hidden costs.
Correct.
Always.
But still 96 didn't buy. The sales doubled. It went from 2 to 4, right? But still 96 didn't buy. So if I was a consultant to a pessimist, they'll go, his shit doesn't work because 96 didn't buy. An optimist to go, hang on a second, I doubled my sales. You see, so in the world, in the universe, we get what we focus on. The fact is that I increased the sales by 50%. So it went from 2 to 3.
Yeah.
He was laughing. And then I get bored. After about 3 months, I've done everything I can. And next, I'm a hunter.
Yeah.
So next, I've done as much input. There's consultants that I know who come to me. They're my clients. And I'm teaching them how to sell and close. And they're like with some clients for 2-3 years. I said, if your shit worked, why are you doing that 2-3 years?
Yeah.
My stuff works 3 months. I'm out next. Yeah, because they would just want to prolong this distance, they prolong this time so they can earn as much money as possible.
Yeah, you get that as well with a lot of personal trainers, don't you? Like they want to get you to the point where some will just try and get you for life, but some will try and get you so you can actually go off and do your own thing.
Well, do you know what? I have my own personal trainer because actually he pushes me every time. He's not the best personal trainer, but he's the best personality. He's never in a bad mood. He pushes me enough. He knows my body that I'm not aching the next 2 days because I don't like not walking, not being able to sleep at night.
I love that feeling.
Do you love
I love
that
the
feeling,
really
not being
sore
able to-
legs. Yeah, yeah.
Really?
I love training legs, but when I get really sore legs, I love it. It's so weird. Like I love it. My chest is like really sore right now. Like.
Yeah, I'm sore, but not painful enough not to be able to move it.
Yeah.
Because if you can't move it, you're not going to go to the gym next day. And it's all about repetition. So I say, push me enough. But I'm not looking at building. I'm looking at toning. So, but he's always in a good mood.
Yeah. And how long did it take for Be Unique to kind of like, you said you were picking up clients all the time. So at what point were you like fully back on your feet and kind of in a good place again?
Well, about 6 months, but not in a good place because I was selling my time, and you never get rich selling your time. So for the listeners is that keep asking the right questions, right? So the question I was asking myself, how can I have a business where I'm not selling my time?
Yeah.
And the second thing is keep asking it no matter how long it takes, because the answer doesn't come to you straight away. Some people ask and then they never ask again, right? And then they become victim. Why is it happening to me? Why have I got this? Yeah. So the question I was asking is, how can I have a business where I'm not selling my time? For over 3 years, I asked the same question. And I was thinking, well, I'm doing like 10 clients a day, and then I've got to deliver. So I've got no life. I'm going to lead to another heart attack. And I could feel it. No time for health issues, no gym, no nothing, no spiritual growth, nothing. So this is my second miracle in my life. I've had many actually, but this is a big one, business-wise. So if you imagine asking the same questions, when I took my sabbatical in Spain, and one of the things I wrote down was to meet Muhammad Ali, the boxer. He was the only person I remember that I associated with my father, who I lost when I was 3.5, right? Because my father used to get me up in the middle of the night on his lap, watch the fights, Ali Fraser fights.
Yeah.
And I remember the black and white TVs and how the whole neighborhood wanted Ali to win because he was a Muslim in Iran. And so I just followed his career, and I felt he was the greatest sportsman ever lived, an amazing human being, this, and then that Parkinson's disease. And my second goal was to only work with children. I think I told you we have an orphanage now in Thailand that we look after. So
Didn't.
Yes.
That was one of the questions I actually had.
Burmese kids, yeah.
Wow. We'll come to that.
200 odd kids. So, but I don't brave about it. It's self-funded. It's all done fine. So I'm happy. Wife's happy. We feel happy, good inside, right? That's all that matters. So I thought, hang on a second. I researched the internet, and Muhammad Ali has a center in Louisville, Kentucky called the Ali Center, and he teaches children to find the greatness within, based on these 6 principles. I can't remember what they are. So discipline is one of them, right? spirituality is another. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So I thought, well, hang on a second. I'm in Dubai. I used to bump into our ruler, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, a lot those days. And I thought, well, I'm going to bump into Sheikh Mohammed and I'm going to pitch him to open up a Muhammad Ali Center in Dubai. Along the way, there's diabetes. At that time, my company was helping Sheikh Mohammed's foundation, Sports versus Crime, because there was lots of crime happening to local kids. And then we were trying to working with the police. We did it for free of charge. We were packing the police station, a police stadium with kids from school and teaching them how to focus on sports and not crime. So I thought, well, I'm going to bump into His Highness and I'm going to pitch him. It didn't work out that way, to open up an Ali Center here. And even if I wasn't going to manage it, somebody else will have achieved my goals and maybe I'll meet Muhammad Ali. He was alive at the time. So I met about 30, 40 people quite high up in the government. Everybody said no. And then I've become very good at this. My pitch got better and better, more polished, really good videos and everything, great music. And I met a junior sheikh in the Palace Hotel downtown. And he came in his drop-head Rolls Royce. I think he was 27 or 8 years old. I'm there, my laptop. I did the best presentation you could ever imagine because I was really polished. He was the biggest name. And he just said, Dariush, it's not going to work. Not interested in charity. If it was rock climbing, Red Bull stuff, yes. But nobody's interested in an old boxer. I said, okay, I was devastated. Went home, phoned up my friend. He was a social media manager for a company. I said, hey, listen, I'm going to shut this idea down. It's the only goal I haven't achieved. He goes, have you heard of Facebook? I said, yeah, I have a Facebook page. He goes, how many friends you got? I said, 100 and odd. I said, I'll come round. We set up a page. He said, no, set up a page. He came round. We set up a page called Ali Center UAE, right? And he said, just see if people will support you. I said, who would support me? So that night, I typed out a heartfelt letter. And another lesson is when you're writing anything to anyone, write it from the heart and not the head. Because from the heart goes to the heart. From the head goes to the head, doesn't get any responses. And I teach people how to write business heartfelt letters, okay? Because it shit worked for me.
Yeah.
So I send this letter out, the whole story I've just told you. I say, if 50 of you support me on this page, I will continue my dream. If you don't, I'll just put it to bed. Went to bed, woke up, had over 1,000 followers. Within 2 weeks, I had over 40,000 followers. And I'm driving down Sheikh Zayed Road. My phone rings. I say, hello, American voice. Can it be available 11 o'clock tonight or 9 o'clock tonight? Sure. Phone sitting, family around the table, phone rings. Hello, it's Mrs. Muhammad Ali on the phone. Muhammad's watched the campaign. He's interested in meeting you.
Shut up.
I swear to God.
Really?
Look, even now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, can you believe this? So I didn't have any, so I phoned around, borrowed some money, took several flights, went to Louisville, Kentucky. By that time, I had about 65,000 followers. I had the government of Egypt and India contact me. They want to open Ali centers. And how many posts I'd done that page? That first one, I never posted anything. So I turned up about 3 hours before my meeting and I was sitting on a table with a sandwich board pointing to the Ali Center. I thought, I owe it to these people, not me. It's these supporters around the world who made me sit here. If I didn't have momentum, I would never have had the call. So I took a picture of the sandwich board pointing, and just a caption like, because of you, I'm here. Something like this. 7,000 people replied in an hour. I was like, good God, this is a stadium. So I picked up a handkerchief and wrote a business plan to open up a social media company.
And that was it.
That was it. And I thought, you know what, how much I'm going to charge? I think it was only Facebook and Twitter at the time or something. And I said, you know what, they pay a cleaner 2,000 dirhams. They pay the T-boy 2,000. I'll just charge 2,000 dirhams. Within the first year, I had 200 clients. I was earning 400,000 dirhams a month. My son, myself, and my wife were the only content managers. And we were writing content 3 a.m. And to keep it going, we were like, every time whoever got most amount of likes next day, I gave commission to. We were just trying to keep the buzz going.
Yeah.
And
again, social media is literally like the same thing. It's the same as the gym, eating well and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just repetition. Just keep going.
The reason it's repetition because the consumer tests to see how committed you are.
Yeah.
If you just a fly by night, they've seen it, they've had enough. They want to see if you're committed, right? And you could be engaging for 1 or 2 episodes, right? But they want to see how committed you are. Joe Rogan works because he religiously does it every single day, right? He's got content every single day for years. So, and of course, he's entertaining as well. So and educational, because you learn something from. I don't know if you watch Joe Rogan. I learn as well, and I get entertained. So anyhow, came back, had a business. I went to my clients, had 20 odd clients, 30 clients. I said, "Do you want social media?" 20 of them signed up. Went to 200 clients, and they came back and said, "You're doing a great job." I mean, we were exhausted, right? But I had passive income, regular income coming. I wasn't just one-off 3-month deals. And they came and said, "Can you do a website? Can you design a website for us?" No clue. I don't know how to switch my laptop. Yeah. So I said, "Sure." Took their money.
But then paid somebody else to do it.
Paid somebody else to do it. And then that did very well. At the time, believe it or not, my son was at school. And he was like 14, 15. And he was cold calling for me between breaks.
Yeah.
And he was pushing me. So I love him so much. He's 29. He's been with 15, 16 years now. So, he was cold calling for me. I was closing deals. We were doing reports at night. We were doing content. And then we did websites. He left school, my son, eventually. Now he runs the company. And people came and said, "We love your website. We love what you did." Because I was good at design. I know what websites should look like, but I don't know how to code, right? So I know where the eye movement is, call to action, scarcity, all the thoughts behind it. I can do that, but I don't know how to code. And then people came and said, "We can't find you. We can't find our website. Sorry, we can't find our website. It's beautiful, but nobody can find it. Oh, you need SEO. How much is that? 4,000 a month." Here's the thing. Okay, took the money, hired the people to do that. We had 135 staff. And then people came and said, "Well, it's taking ages. I can see going from page 10 to 9 to 8, but it's taking too long. What can we do?" I said, "Hang on a second.
Better server.
Google ads."
Yeah.
Google ads. Now we're top 3% Google partners in the whole of MENA region.
No way.
Yeah. So now we're doing millions a month on Google ads and social media ads.
Dirhams or dollars?
Dirhams. Sometimes dollars, but regularly millions of dirhams. So, we're premier partners, Google, top 3% premier partners for Google in the MENA region. So we're doing very well. And then people came and said, then I realized that a lot of our clients were in the hospitality business, but they didn't have consistency, right? So I thought you need training. So we opened up a training company. And then I realized you can't train unmotivated staff. They had recruitment issues. If you recruit the wrong person who's not motivated, you're not going to be able to train them. So we opened a recruitment and training company. And then I realized that they don't have consistency of menu and service. So we opened up a hospitality business. So just in the back of the Muhammad Ali experience, all the connected.
So how many people do you employ now?
Now 35.
Wow.
Because I made so much money. I don't need to have so many people. I'll just become an investment house. We keep our advertising business and SEO business because we're very good at it.
Yeah.
But everything else is just my Gladiator mastery, which is helping others to have abundance and an investment. So I invest in a company every month.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many companies now are you invested in?
12 companies.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been about a year and a half ago we started investing.
Yeah.
We opened up a company called Arena Capital. Arena as in the arena of life and gladiators.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you've come a long way since. I mean, I'm a little bit sad because you didn't talk about the coffee and donut story, but
I can talk about
No.
I tell you what, I had a friend of mine. It was in the first, I think, second month. I was everything is peaks and troughs. Life's peaks and troughs. Day, night, winter, summer, whatever, spring. So I was just going through a very tight cash flow. And I always, no matter what, even if I had no money, hardly any, I always bought the first drink. And I was at the address in Dubai Marina, and my friend ordered coffee. I didn't order because I didn't have enough money to cover the coffee. And I said to him, "Dave, I can't afford the coffee you just ordered." And he goes, "Are things bad?" I said, "They're really bad." And he said, "Here's 500 dirhams. And he gave me 500 dirhams. I was moved, shocked. My family didn't help me. My sister was rich, living in Dubai, never helped me. And very next day I paid him. The client paid, but I couldn't forget this kind gesture. Imagine this was 13 years ago.
Who is Dave, by the way?
I'm not going to give you a surname because I'll tell you why. This gentleman is on my visa All his family are on my visa. I've helped him move his home. I've helped him financially, everything. But I haven't met him for 5 years. Imagine, I pay him a salary every single month. I haven't met him physically, face to face, for 5 years. And he was like my brother.
Why?
And I tell you two things that pissed me off. One, that every time I did a seminar, I brought this up and I got him to stand. I got him to stand and the whole room clapped. Everybody gave him love. No, he took the love and sat down. Never turned and said, you know what, Darius has paid me back 1,000 times. I wish once, just once, he said, for that 500 dirham that he paid me back next day, he's paid me back 1,000 times. Never. He just took the love and sat down. I just noticed it. Okay. So I messaged him a couple of years ago because I felt like very Gandhi-like, and I thought, I'm going to give love to the world. And I wrote him a 1-page letter of, if I've upset you, I apologize. I see you as a brother, this. And you know what his reply was? Your success pisses me off. Because it highlights how unhappy I am with mine.
And you pay...
Every single month, I pay him his salary and he pays me back. Imagine, no, he pays me straight back, right? Because you have to see the turnover of salary.
Why?
WPS. Because if somebody's on your visa, you've got to show you paying them a salary.
Why do you still do that for him?
People ask me that. I don't know. He doesn't hate me. He just hates himself, right?
Oof.
It's sad, isn't it? But the world is filled full of that.
It is.
Well, last year, to a tune of $30 million, I've helped people invest their money. And where they're getting returns of 24% a year. 24% a year to a tune of $30 million. I introduce them, they invest, and everybody, when they first invest, they just put a small amount in. When they see it working, they get more confident, put money in. Do you know how many people have come to me and said, I've made a second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th payment? 0. They go, thanks for the introduction. I'll never hear from them again. Why do you think that is? Elon Musk mentioned it last month. He said, people have got this small pie mentality. They think the pie is small and there's only so many slices to be shared. Rich people think the pie is huge and everybody can have a slice.
Yeah.
So the idiots think that this wealth is, if they get it, I can't have it, he can't have it, she can't. So to me, I want to help everyone be rich. Everybody can be. There's so much money out there. It's just that most people have a poor mentality. They think the pie is small, according to Elon Musk.
It's very true. I mean, we talk about this a lot in the podcast, and it's regardless of money, job, whatever it may be, it's all about limiting beliefs. What do you believe to be true, you know? And it's a shame. It's a shame.
Money is a huge trigger point. It's like religion.
Money means nothing. Like, it's just freedom tokens.
Money magnifies. If you're a good person, it magnifies you doing good. If you're a bad person, it magnifies. Money is energy. You know, I say, what energy are you sending out? Today I was talking to someone and he said, you know what, Dariush, you should have, because I have sore throat from time to time when I exercise like this, you know, the lactose. And he said, you should have almond milk. I said, sure, no problem. He goes, you know, it costs a bit extra. I said, yeah. Because you don't mind paying that extra for almond milk? No, because most of my clients don't want to pay that extra for soya or almond, so they have full fat milk. There are people out there who pay extortionate prices for coffee. Yeah. They're not prepared to pay a little bit more to have a healthier milk because they feel they're being screwed, and they just damage themselves. Yeah. They put their health aside.
It's one thing that I don't sacrifice on is food. You know, it's that energy. Do you know what I mean?
What you eat, right?
Exactly. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's scarcity mentality. We brought. If you imagine, every single newspaper, every single media has tried to have good news, has gone bust. Happy news. People don't want it. People get inspired and they take action through bad news and being scared. That's so sad. That's so sad. Be careful this, be careful that. Find an excuse for your failure. Because at the end of the day, you know what? We need bus drivers. We need cleaners. We need dustbin men. We do, for the world to go around.
Yeah.
So the super rich want the masses to be poor. That's what makes the world go around.
Yeah, of course. And also as well, they need the people that are going to come and work for them. And
Yeah. In Europe and the West, you pay taxes. Here, you don't pay taxes, right? But that's what they want. They want the masses to work and die and pay the taxes. The rich, the super rich, don't want you to get super rich.
You obviously mentioned one of your sons who runs the business. How many children do you have?
4.
4. Aging from?
29, 28, 15, and 8. Separate marriage.
Big gap.
Second wife.
Yeah, but so much energy, you did it twice.
Do you know, and that was, I retired ever since. Do you know, my 2 younger boys bring life into my life. I'm so glad I had them. I never wanted more than 2 kids, and met my second wife. She's considerably younger than me, and she wanted children. I said, okay, and it's the best thing ever happened to me. I can't wait to go home. I can't wait to tie the shoelaces and put the tie on for school. It's my highlights of the day.
I spoke to my niece. She's far. Don't shoot me for this, Kerry. 4 years old, 5 this year. But she's just so sweet. She's just so innocent. And you just look at her and with all children, and you just want to protect that innocence for as long as possible.
You want them to stay childlike. I mean, I'm 57 and I'm so childlike.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a podcast, right? What do I do? Why do you feel like that? Why this? Why that? Like, because we'd seem to just get rid of it, you know? But why?
I think lack of education, and we're the generation now, because of the internet, there's no excuse. Right? Before, you can blame our parents and parents. They didn't know.
Yeah.
But we should know now. There's no excuse. Having said that, there's still people who tell you to go into education just in case. Just in case what? Just in case what? Just in case you fail, you get a job. You can get a job whistling in McDonald's and get paid more than some people who are educated. In my company, when I had 130 and 30 odd now, every one of them has got a degree, and not one of them is working in the field that they got a degree in.
Yeah.
You know, today I was listening to, is it Tristan Tate? Andrew Tate's brother, and he was saying, like, go to the car park of universities. How many fancy cars do you see?
None,
because they're all broke. That's what they educate. I mean, I feel education is good one. Peer group, you ask the right questions, you intrigue, you know, but only speak when you're spoken to, do it their way. There's only one answer, it's one solution. These all kills your creativity. Yeah. So, I don't know. I said to my son, you know, again, Gary Vee says, instead of paying for education or borrowing and becoming in debt, give him some money. Say, travel the world. You get more from traveling the world, more education than you do sitting in a classroom learning from somebody who's broke. Unless you want to be a doctor, dentist, you know, you need certain qualifications. Or anything else, just learn it.
So you have 4 kids, and so you have all boys?
3 boys and a girl. My daughter's a millionaire. My son's a millionaire. My 28 is a multimillionaire. My son's a multimillionaire.
Could they have done it without you?
Well, because I have a really good mum.
Yeah.
Because she's an entrepreneur also. So it's good combination. Good combination.
How do you keep them grounded?
Well, the first 2 is easy because they saw me suffer. So unfortunately, they saw me suffer too much. So I think sometimes they're driven by fear. Yeah, they're driven by fear rather than abundance. With my 2, I work very hard to kind of remind them of all the tough times because their life's roses.
Yeah.
Right? They have the best holiday. Yesterday, I booked a trip for my son's school trip to New York. Last year was Tokyo. You know,
as a well-traveled kid.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and my 8-year-old gets on the plane. He goes, I don't want to sit in those seats, economy, right? Because he's used to sitting business first. So, and then I said to them, you know, Daddy didn't fly till he was 16 or 15 or whatever it was. I went to England. I said, Daddy didn't have a car. So I share with them how tough it was.
Yeah.
But you wonder for their children, because they're never going to have, hopefully, never going to have pain.
Yeah.
You see, they always say 3rd generation tends to lose everything.
And how's relationship with your mum nowadays?
Crap. But I make an effort. You can never forget the pain, but you can forgive, right? So I went on certain courses and found out that she had her own issues and from her childhood and
Does she live in Dubai or she's
England. And then so she still pulls triggers, but then I found that I don't know if I explained that I found that she was my inspiration. I always thought my dad was my inspiration, but my mom was inspirational to me because I was like, fuck you, I'm going to show you that I'm not the failure you said I am. I'm going to show you. And that pain is the one that woke me up every morning thinking, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. Yeah. And then obviously her life was based on, she judges people on financial security because she didn't have any. Doesn't matter if you're a drug dealer or a crook, if you're financially free and successful, that's what she judges you on. So when I made it financial, I said, Mom, you know, I'm the same person as I was. I actually probably had more principles then than I have now, but you love me now. And that's her way of, that's her boundaries, that's her values. Just got to respect it. She falls asleep listening to the news. I don't watch the news.
Yeah.
You know, she likes the sound of news in the background. I speak to her, she's always talking about which war around the world. I can't bear it.
Yeah.
If you can't affect it, don't entertain it.
And does she have a relationship with your children?
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Really good. But they also say, because she could be listening to this, so I've got to be very careful. They also say, Dad, you were amazing to cope with that for such a long period of time. I tried killing myself a few times when I was in my teens. Just couldn't bear it. Couldn't bear it. Yeah. I actually did a podcast with someone, and he said he felt such a failure that he thought about killing himself, that he probably thought he failed doing that, so he didn't kill himself. Can you imagine? See, if I was going to shoot myself, probably got it wrong and got disabled, so I was going to hang myself. The rope would have done sand. I had so much lack of self-belief that I didn't even try to kill myself because I probably would have got that wrong.
Yeah.
How bad is that?
This is also leads very, very neatly onto a question I wanted to ask you as well. Is you know, in the first podcast, it was so great to listen back to it because I listened to it and I was like, wow, like there's so many things, unanswered questions at the time that I was so engrossed in the conversation, I didn't think about it. But men have lost their way.
Yep.
I also think that, but why, from your eyes, why? And I'll chip in on this one afterwards. So
I'll give you an example. When I was dating the first girlfriend in England, I went to her, on my first date, I bought her a bouquet of flowers. She looked at me like I was mad. I would open a door for her, and she and others would think I'm mad. Like, what's wrong? I can open a door. I don't need flowers. And then you start thinking, I stopped opening doors. I stopped because I was like, equality, right? I don't have to be a gentleman. So you feel a little bit lost. Yes?
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was being sexist. I was just thought that's what gentlemen did. So now, gentlemen don't do that. Yeah? If you're a gentleman, you try to love by.
yeah,
Yeah? So they should open the door. They should buy equal amount of drinks as you. You know, and I think men are lost. Men are lost. Women aren't equal to men. Men aren't equal to women. We're just finding our positions, right?
yeah.
So I think women are better than us in everything, apart from strength. So maybe they should be on higher salaries and higher commissions and stuff than men. But just that the fact is that men have been, because we've been physically stronger, we've ruled the world. But at the same time, gentlemen have lost their way. You know, gentlemen have lost their way, and they're finding their way. And it's no good, you know, like a man sitting at home and looking after his kids. I don't know what the hell they call them now. Man dads or something like that. House dads, house husbands, husbands they call them. Like, I would be embarrassed. I would be embarrassed because we're hunters, right? Men are hunters. Women are the ones who look after the family in the caves. Our DNA is that. So since when, you know, we don't give birth, we don't give milk to our kids. And it's not a sexist thing. I would love my wife to earn more money than me. Yes? It's just that we got to go out there and do things. We got to make things happen. We got to go and fight wars for our family, for battles for our kids. Yeah. I think we just lost. A lot of people are, and who was it? Dan Pino says the average handshake has lost its strength in a man over the last 50 years by half.
Yeah.
So we don't even shake hands like we used to.
Yeah. I do agree. I do agree. I think I was listening to a podcast a few weeks ago, and it was talking about, obviously, and I I think men losing their way. I don't know if it's actually men. I think it's a combination of things. I think one is society. You know, um, to be a proud woman, and they call it, is it feminist, where you're like I don't even know like that, but like when you're a strong woman, an empowered woman, it's great. But if you're an empowered man, you're sexist. So I think, and this is a bold, but I'm just gonna just say how I feel. But I do feel like that's what kind of demasculates a man, because you can't really be a masculine man anymore.
Okay,
because
I
you're
can
sexist.
scientifically prove this. The sperm counts on men is less than half. And it's getting lower and lower. A man doesn't wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to give out less sperm today.
Yeah.
Right? I can Google it now and tell you the sperm count is going to the human beings are endangered because the men aren't giving out as much sperm anymore. And you can't control it. That's the way we're feeling. We're not feeling as masculine as before.
Yeah. But
the fact is, women don't need men actually for that. Now you got test tube, right?
Yeah.
So we are becoming more and more redundant.
But also as well, it's again from a study that came out that basically women in a high position want men that are more powerful than them. But then obviously nowadays with women in the workplace, rightfully so, because I'll like my whole team. I got 8 people in my team. I'm the only man. I've had men before, but ego. They don't want to work hard sometimes. They want to, okay, it sounds great, but when
they know best.
When push comes to shove, I'm not going to, whereas the girls, they're killers, man. They're on it non-stop. They see it, okay, this man's a perv. Okay, I'm going to use that and I'm going to take money from him and I'm going to take double the amount because he's a perv. Do you know what I mean? So like women are I think have way better brains because, men just let ego get in the way and that's it. But yeah, like you've got obviously powerful women coming through that rightfully so need to be powerful and they should be in that position. But then they're wanting a man that's more powerful than them. But then that man's like feels inferior because sometimes it's harder to be more powerful.
Can you imagine being married to J-Lo?
Yeah.
Or Kardashians or Beyonce? It's tough. Because they're constant. And what do you do? It's like being Prince Philip, right?
Yeah.
Your wife is the Queen of England. So
you're always going to be inferior.
Always feel that way. The fact is that you can't generalize, right? There are people listening to this and say, no, I respect you. The majority of women want safety and security.
Yeah.
And a man should provide that to the woman. And they can be free to be women. I went on a course in Bahamas and we had 2,000 people on stage and 2,000 men had to vote for the sexiest woman. And it went from 2,000 to 1,000, 500, 200, 100, and then to 1. And the last 10 9 of them were supermodels. You expected them to get to the finals. The 10th person, the last 9, the 10th person was a woman who was 9 months pregnant. Do you know who the people voted for? The men?
Her.
Why? Not the model. They got to the finals. Not the model. They voted for the woman who felt more feminine than she could ever be. She was so feminine. She was oozing with feminism. She was beautiful to watch. She was dancing. She was happy being a woman. And all the men were attracted to her.
Yeah.
She was huge.
Yeah. And that's the thing, isn't it? We as we've evolved over time, we've got cameras, we've got microphones, we've got lights, we've got everything that you could want from an evolved kind of society. But our brains are still the same. Our brains still release the same chemicals when certain things happen, and fight or flight and whatever. So it's like we have to kind of like not overcomplicate the human race in a sense.
We're going through change. Like over 100 years ago, you couldn't fly to anywhere in the world at any time you wanted to. You couldn't have information anytime with touch your finger. Yes, so we had to struggle to survive over 100 years ago. For the first time in humanity, in the human race, we don't have to struggle to survive. Food gets delivered, products get delivered, everything is too easy. So that's for the first time we're talking about abundance at no effort. No wonder we're confused. 100,000 years of struggle over the last 100 years. Think if 30 years since everything's come so easily. So we're just going through change. I do believe in human race. I do believe that we are going to fix things. I do believe we're going to fix the environment. When I was a kid, they were saying there's not going to be any oil. There's going to be oil forever. They said there's not going to be enough water. There's going to be water forever. They said there's not enough soil to feed the billions. Yeah. Now we found the way to fertilize. Humanity is
vertical
incredible.
Farming.
Absolutely. So I want to tell you a story about the women. So 2,000 men got on stage, okay, and the women had to vote for them. Okay, and he went to 1,000, 500, 110. There was bodybuilders, good-looking guys, like just came off of Vogue or whatever. It was a really good-looking guy. And there was one average-looking guy, just an average-looking guy. No body was super excited. No, not just cute, right? Guess who they voted for?
Him.
Why? Because they felt safe with him. He was authentic, and he wasn't going to cheat on them, mess them around. He was just a great guy. Amazing.
This is a true story.
True story. Absolute true story. Tony Robbins seminar in Bahamas. Wow. Amazing. And he was just had a cute smile. He was just a nice guy. Yeah. Probably crack a joke, go out for dinner with. They didn't want the bodybuilders and the macho guys. And they got to the finals. A lot of people said he's sexy, he's good.
Deflates muscles right away.
I'm flexing. Yeah.
Can anyone create success?
Yes.
Anyone
as long as they believe it.
Yeah.
Because you have to be authentic with your energy. If you're not, people will read through it.
Yeah. How do people create that success then? Because we're talking, even when you talked about your son, your daughter being self-made millionaires now, people are going to be thinking, as they do. What can you say to them to actually make them realize that success is something that can be realized in their life?
First thing, you start thinking about what you're thinking about. Okay, and what you're thinking is what you say. So make sure everything you comes out of your mouth is positive, optimistic, not critical, judgmental. It talks about abundance, not scarcity. You're a leader, not a victim, right? So take charge of your life, and that comes through consistency. Then it becomes a habit. The habit is the way you do, and then it becomes your legacy. Your habit becomes your character becomes your legacy. So it all starts with the thought. Then it comes to what you say. So be aware of what you say on a regular basis. Be aware of who you hang around with, right? If you're sitting somewhere and you realize they're not getting it, they're having a small conversation, they're living small lives. Get out. Go and sit. Today I was talking to someone. I'm okay financially. I was sitting with someone probably in his early 30s, worth about $1.2 billion. And in about half an hour, maybe an hour conversation, I learned so much. I learned so much from him.
People of that level tend to just be honest, straight to the point, bang.
To him, making $120 million, $130 million deal is like buying a pen. I noticed I'm constantly observing and learning. You never stop learning. I was like, wow, to me, 100-odd million is a huge number. To him, it's just nothing. It's just $10.
Yeah.
It's just winning and losing. It's the game.
Yeah. Do you know what? I actually had a guest that came on this show. He created a business called Relax My Cat, Relax My Dog, right? And it's basically just videos of cat walks, dog walks, and just things where pets can be entertained with calming music, help with anxiety, stuff like that. And anyway, he's come up with this idea about 10, 15 years ago, and it took off and really flew. And you imagine, he literally, all he had to pay for was the production of the music, and he took stock videos and sometimes recorded his own. And when he got to a big level, he was creating all the content himself, but he was making millions, so he's cash rich.
From YouTube, people pay.
Yeah. So he came to Dubai for the first time, and we sat down, we did the podcast. And I was like, why are you here? And he said, to be honest with you, mate, in England, I'm just
suffocating.
I just feel like I'm just, I feel like I'm not around people that want to be where I am. And because I'm kind of at a level where people are looking up to me, I want to come and be inspired. And how do I come and be inspired? By surrounding myself with people that are absolutely like pissing all over me in terms of like where they are in their life. And it makes me feel like a tiny little dot again. And then that way I can push for more, you know. A couple of years later, he's now in LA, just about to sell his business to a record label, you know. But yeah, no, I thought I'd just drop that little bit in there because it's so true about like.
I get it. You're at your best when your back's against the wall. So one of the reasons I could not invest, one of the reasons I invest, because every month I end up with little in my bank account. It inspires me to make more in the month after.
Yeah.
Too much comfort, it's not good.
Yeah. What are the priorities in your life now?
Health, because I realized that I abused my body. I used to be a pretty good footballer, squash player, basketball player. I didn't warm up. I didn't cool down properly, didn't stretch. So my knees and ankles snapped an Achilles. So health, because without that, what's the point of being rich, right? Love, just love everyone and don't give a shit whether they love you back or not. Because a lot of people want to fill their cup with love because they lack it in their own. So love yourself first, make sure your cup's full, overflowing, and then help others.
Yeah.
Total belief in yourself and just keep contributing. And it just comes, man. It just comes. It flows. I can honestly tell you, I will never be skint again. Really. Because my energy's changed. I've got the formula. And I can help everybody, as long as they total believe. Don't come in holding back. Play full on and you will become wealthy.
Yeah. And let's end on a positive note. So
I thought that was positive.
Yeah, I mean, no, it was positive, but like an even more positive note. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at. I said sorry. So you told me not to say sorry, and I said sorry.
You did really well until the end. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but what I meant by that was obviously everything we've spoken about is positive, but then there's something that's really, really positive about what you're doing. Is kind of like the charity work and yeah, I think you call it philanthropy. I'm so bad at these things. This is where education.
I'm a dyslexic. No, it's dyslexia.
Yeah,
Maybe you're mild.
Yeah. It's so bad. But it's not bad. It's
but
just,
I noticed that you spelled the tattoo on your arm is spelled wrong. So
yeah, it's Latin.
Just in case.
But yeah, tell me about that. So you obviously you said about the school earlier on that I had no idea about, but because I saw a bit about what you do, but it wasn't you don't publish it.
No, because we're self-funding. I don't need anybody's support. We just do it for ourselves. And my wife and kids left Thailand about 5-6 years ago, and Burmese are cheap laborers in Thailand, and they come over, and because they're illegal immigrants, they don't get education. And in Thailand, by government. So the kids running around sewages and stuff like this. So we saw that, and with the help of some nuns, we opened up a school, and it started with a kitchen, then we got water, then we got school, and it's a proper school now with 290 odd kids. I have zero involvement apart from provide money. My wife does everything. She takes all the credit. She adores kids. She has so much love to give them. And that's it, really. Somebody came to me and said, let's open up a school in Nepal. I invested, never heard from him again. I'm like, come on. So even in that field, in that line of work, people steal. So now I just invest in projects that we manage ourselves, charitable ones. Yeah.
Do you know what? It's been, again, incredible. I mean, you know, I'm getting notifications that the time's running out.
May I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's all about love.
Yeah.
It's ultimately about love. So my suggestion is for the men, cut out the surface bullshit. Just live with an open heart. Sometimes it's going to get kicked. Sometimes it's going to get hurt. But live with an open heart.
What makes you stronger?
Pardon?
It's what makes you stronger.
It makes you stronger. Share your vulnerability like we do here. And it's your strength, not your weakness.
Yeah. Dariush, what can I say, man? It's really been incredible. And I do hope that, you know, we I feel like this is a friendship for me for life
100%.
now.
After September, when I'm back,
yeah,
we're going to meet up. We're going to do great things. I promise you.
Yeah.
I'd love to work with your company and your salespeople as well. And see.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, when's it ever gonna stop? The podcast, I'm like, every week is it's just incredible, and I'm so lucky to have the opportunity to sit down and speak with people that are as amazing as this guy. You know, from the first part one, you would have, if you listened to it, you would have heard how much he charges to do private talks, and he's sitting here doing it for free. And we've got 3 hours of content of sharing wisdom and vulnerability, and just so much more, just everything. So I'm leaving with a full heart today. Thank you everyone for the support of the podcast recently. If you still haven't subscribed, I know I say it each week, but if you don't subscribe, I can't post these podcasts to you each and every week, and get these amazing conversations out there. So click the follow button, hit the like. That little bell on YouTube lets you know that every time we post a podcast, you get a notification. And the podcast is flying at the moment. Like I couldn't thank you enough. I mean, I couldn't thank you for the studio, everything that's going on in life right now. So as I said, I'm leaving with a full heart today. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.